What's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing today? I just had to jump live. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before I start because I've been trying to get this video out for a week now, and I've been using the same method for the past year, but all of a sudden now it's just tripping, so forget it. We're gonna do it this way. I can use a little feedback as I walk y'all through this little information anyway. For those of you who are on my social media, you will notice that I began to share this link to Where is R. Kelly's Money, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. Because that is what's been on my mind for quite some time. Because if y'all hadn't been paying attention, when Surviving R. Kelly first aired, I looked up R. Kelly's estimated net worth, and it was $150 million. And then a year later, it drops down to 100,000. Then you start hearing these reports. R. Kelly is broke. R. Kelly has only $13 in his account and all this stuff. So I'm like, that just don't make no sense, considering all the money this man has generated. Something ain't right. And that may be why he's going through the things he's going through now. And the same way that we've stated before that these girls are just the smokescreen, I stand on that. And as I continue to go through this video, all that will become a whole lot clearer to you. Why R. Kelly is in the situation he's in now. Because the biggest thing that has irritated me is hearing people make comments such as, it's his fault he's in the situation he's in. He should have learned from the first time and blase, blase. But at the same time, these will be the same people to say you should try to help the people in your neighborhood and this, and that. What does it say when you try to help the people from your neighborhood and they turn on you? Because all they see you as is a money bag.
Welcome to Camp by Walmart, where your family can train the brain and body to be unstoppable.
People kept asking why this man wasn't speaking out. It seemed like to me, the bigger question is why people weren't listening. Because maybe if people were listening, we wouldn't be where we are today. Which is looking real damn crazy considering how we were all led to this whole case in the first place. All these wild accusations. And the more these people began to talk, the more it became clear to me. This is like a robbery in progress. We're watching it. We keep hearing all these talks about who's the next R&B king, the next king of R&B. Where in any other culture do you see them trying to replace their legends? It's always with Black people that you have this comparison, this replacement, this fierce competition. Why is that? Ask yourself. Because seems like to me, while the Black artists are busy competing and shitting on each other, all the other artists are getting it while the getting is good. Why is it so many of these artists portray the lavish lifestyle via their social media, but in actuality, their bank account don't add up? We're in the midst of talking about trafficking and all this, human rights, etc., etc. But another topic for discussion is how these companies are pimping these artists out of their money and even using their own people to tear them down while they continue to profit. As far as people keep asking, who is the next R&B king? Let's be real. There has not been too many other artists who can compare to R. Kelly. Robert Sylvester Kelly has been credited with helping to redefine R&B and hip hop, earning the pink. Anytime you see a link like that, you can click on it and it'll take you to an article in reference to the topic at hand. So people ask, why hasn't R. Kelly spoken out? Well, according to this article, he told them his ex-wife is destroying his name and others stole his money. Same thing that was brought out in the Gayle King interview that many people made a mockery out of. But as this video continues to progress, you will begin to see exactly what it was that Drea Kelly was doing. And it will begin to reveal Drea Kelly's nature and show that she's nothing more than what some of these average guys would consider a bitter baby mama. I find it strange that at that particular time, in the 90s, 2000s, it was very common for young artists to be left in the care of artists. And I never understood that. We always saw these celebrity kids doing things that we knew damn well regular kids weren't doing. At the same time, obviously, some things go on in the industry when parents put their children in compromising situations. Yet it is very hypocritical to give some situations the benefit of the doubt while making others seem deviant. So like Jada Pinkett, for example, and what she felt. She, of all people, should know how rumors can take a toll on your life, regardless of how innocent she felt like this picture in particular was. Who thinks it's appropriate for a little girl to be laid up in a bed with a shirtless grown man? I'm just going to skip some of this stuff because a few of the articles is just for your knowledge, just for you to see what people were saying. And that specific clipping right there was from Jermaine Dupri, basically saying R&B has taken a hit. Things have seriously changed. And I wonder why. It's funny that people run with some rumors, and even though they are aware that rumors surround each celebrity's life, it's alarming how the public is fickle when it comes to the topic at hand. Abuse in the industry has been well documented, as well as the casting couch. Therefore, you would have to wonder why any parent would want to subject a child to that lifestyle. Just like there was rumors about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, there was rumors about Genuine and Aaliyah. And guess what? She was a minor at that time, 16, 17, they say going on 18. Guess what? That sounds a little bit familiar, right? Nobody said anything about that. Then you got all the allegations that came with the group B2K, since Omarion wanted to come out and say he was retiring R. Kelly's songs that he wrote for them. Why don't you put to rest the biggest rumor from your group, which was that y'all were being sexually abused? No, nobody wants to talk about that. The biggest rumor that seemed to always be used to validate any allegation against R. Kelly is his alleged marriage to Aaliyah. But ask yourself, if an entire industry knew the presented document printed in Vibe was authentic, why would he continue to be in such high demand? So an entire industry was okay continuing to do business with him for 20 plus years until they saw a movie. It was always funny for some to joke about the topic, including the alleged sex tape, and to play with the term young. Yet how can you take the story serious when you dig into the circumstances surrounding R. Kelly and the shady characters within his past and present circle? As pointed out in this article, it clearly references the marriage certificate as a fraudulent certificate. Yet again, we're supposed to take this shit serious, that he married this girl and it wasn't a publicity stunt. We're supposed to take it serious when the same people making these allegations told us out their mouth that nobody wanted to work with Aaliyah after the scandal unless R. Kelly was working with her, which is why they ended up getting Timbaland. Make this shit make sense. You gonna tell me that this uncle was okay with continuing to work with this man 5 years after his alleged client marries his niece? Unlike with any other race of people, it should be no surprise how many turned their back on Kelly and began conversations of who the new king of R&B is. And the answer is R. Kelly will be and always will be the king of R&B. We have watched everything taken from this man. We cannot remain complicit in allowing these unknown forces to take a rightfully earned title to fit their agenda. You can't take away his credits. None of that. You can't take away his awards. And you definitely can't take away the fact that people working for the government have come out exposing certain facts, certain things about important children, murder, and bondage. Did y'all forget just a few years ago when the Haiti hurricane happened? And it wasn't a few years ago, it was quite a few years ago. But anyways, when the lady was caught stealing the little Haiti's kids, and then Bill Clinton went out of his way to make sure she got a light sentence. Anyways, just like with this, they didn't realize that trying to work so hard in exposing some people as pedophiles while the real pedophiles get their charges brushed under the rug, that they were going to be exposing a whole lot more people. As you'll see there's another video in which, again, people ask, why wasn't R. Kelly speaking out? He was. Why weren't you doing research about these allegations instead of just running with the narrative? And it's strange that if you go through these interviews, you will notice the difference in the tone from then, 2002, 2008 even, to now. Then it was a more honorable, a more moral type of interviewing going on. Whereas now they come out with the craziest titles to make you think negative thoughts. It becomes very clear how people around him can be manipulated and envious of him when you have characters intentionally setting him up. And it's so funny to me that these so-called victims and the parents, they've just spent the last year exposing their true motives to those people paying attention. This man fooled so many people into thinking all this was about getting his daughter back. He just wanted a relationship with his daughter. And as we have uncovered, that is all a bunch of bullshit. As we can see displayed, the whole battle between the Savages and the Clarys and R. Kelly is a battle of control. Them trying to control adult women. And that's why they're mad. But at the end of the day, the burden of proof lies on them to prove their case. And as far as we're concerned, they have already proved their case that they have been lying from the beginning. They have been manipulating the facts from the beginning. And even some of the people that were rooting for them realize this.
That's what you think, Goofy? You think because people had something back, who you think R. Kelly really can blackball somebody? How stupid are y'all? Like, this is really dumb shit. You gotta make people, you gotta have good relationships. You have no good relationships. Y'all never keep you calm right here, dumb. I don't nobody fuck with him. That's why y'all got a defense fund. If people fuck with him, do you think he would need you dummies? You think he would need his lawyers talking to a bunch of silly ass people online that can't contribute 100,000, 200,000, maybe $1 million? Shut the fuck up. Y'all stupid. That man don't have no pull. That man was the greatest of what he did, but he didn't have good relationship. Ask his staff. He don't pay nobody. Like he pay you dumb motherfuckers no mind. That's why all the told everything on him. These motherfuckers keep talking about somebody. No, the motherfuckers around him told on him. Yeah, that's what y'all don't realize. The victims, they shit all this. Got all these dummies on here taking their place like they've been around. Where the motherfuckers that been around? The 30, 40 motherfuckers around. You know where they at? They got smart like this nigga ain't shit for me. I'm not gonna know everything. Fuck that nigga.
From the beginning. They have been manipulated. Is it hard to believe that people begin to turn on R. Kelly when you have voices like that spewing the venom such as what you just heard? Oh, but wait, it gets even more interesting.
A whole bunch of clothes. $150 million gone. Do y'all realize when this nigga went to jail, he still had obligations to pay out women every fucking month? This nigga was gonna be paying out settlements until the fucking the end of time. This nigga was paying settlements for fucking, what the fuck, 10, 15 years ago. Everybody think these girls settle when he just came in that motherfucker with a duffel bag full of money. That's not what the fuck happened. They motherfucking got a small lump sum of money in a payment plan. Because if he paid everybody, he really wouldn't be around here. Payment plan, 5,000 a month, 50,000 a month, 20,000.
You see, the more these people talk, the more they put this picture into perspective for me. So when I sit here and I listen to this guy talking about this payment plan, I started thinking, that might be an easy way to extort money, right? Because anybody knows that you can't sit out here and be just taking out large sums of money, specifically over 10,000. You're gonna have the feds knocking at your door. So how we gonna get this money? Just keep that there. Because again, they made it very clear to me. This shit is all about money. Whether they felt like it was gonna come from some book deals, whether they directly got paid on the side, whether they're embezzling money through their little fake ass companies through Ponzi schemes. I ain't quite clear yet, but I tell you what, we want to know, where the fuck is R. Kelly's money? You're not finna sit here and tell me that man is broke, and then try to tell me that the man had $250,000 settlements and that's why he broke. But we can only account for 5. But y'all want to sit here and keep putting in the air there's so many more. Whoa, where they at? All these little bits and pieces of information is some bullshit. Just like with the first trial, with all the extensive media coverage and slanderous blogging, it poses challenges with the defense and the hopes of R. Kelly receiving a fair trial. And that was a thing that was pointed out with the first trial, all the media coverage. And we see that it took a 6-year span, which it may have worked for his advantage because it took so long. But let's just hypothetically say this case doesn't take so long. And look at the overkill these people have commenced in slandering this man's name and making it very much impossible to think he will get a fair trial.
Publicity surrounding the trial comes at certain legal challenges. CLTV's Randy Bellosello has a story.
It's been 6 years in the making, and the time has finally come. It's R. Kelly's day in court to answer to 14 counts of child pornography charges based on a videotape said to be made sometime between 1997 and 2002. Just as we've listened to the sounds of his platinum-gilded R&B songs soar over the airways for the past 2 decades, we're all now tuned in to the criminal courts building at 26th Street.
Defense cases like fine wine, it gets better with age. And I think that's probably the case here. I think that over the course of the years, the case has mellowed out just like the wine does. It's probably going to work to his advantage.
But Leonard Cavese of DePaul University says the high-profile nature of the proceedings may prove problematic for Kelly.
Sometimes, the fairest jury also looks to be the dumbest jury.
But by this point, who hasn't heard of this case?
So there might be somebody who wants to be on the jury because they don't like him and they think that he's done a bad thing. They want to get on there because they want to advocate that view.
William Healy of Decision Quest consulting firm says the jury pool will undergo a lengthy.
Now I hope y'all heard what he said. If y'all didn't hear that, please make sure you go to the site and click on that video to make sure you heard what he just discussed. But basically, he just said what I said. With all this extra publicity they've given this, with the interviews, the books, all this shit they've done on top of surviving R. Kelly, they have made it literally impossible to perceive that he will be able to get an unbiased juror. And just like the man pointed out, even then, when they weren't doing all this, they were worried about if people would get on the jury panel just to convict the man based on them not liking him and things like that, assuming he's guilty. Hold on one second. Okay, my apologies. I'm trying to get through this before King wakes up. That's gonna be the loud one. You know, I could kind of manage with Serenity. She ain't gonna do nothing but a little bit of grunting. But anyways, again, I hope y'all heard that little clip that just played. But moving on, it just makes it hard to believe this man will get a fair trial when you have the attorneys holding these press conferences, trying to do the most, posting all this alleged evidence, even taking the alleged evidence to a news broadcasting agency for them to view, which is fucking illegal. How does that work? You taking alleged child porn to a news station for them to watch it. But what can you expect from an attorney who's been convicted of extortion? But anywho, when you have corrupt attorneys using the media as leverage to further taint the case, leaving any evidence mentioned questionable. It's mighty funny that I was just researching about some Masonic stuff because just putting it out there. Somebody mentioned to me that R. Kelly is supposed to be a Knights Templar, whatever that is. I know it's part of the Masonic order, but anyways, that's what led me to looking down that path. And when I look down that path, you know who name I come across? I come across Kamala, however you say her name, Harris. You know what they were doing? They had these people out here pretending to be police officers, basically saying they were Masonic police. And you know what? I just keep hearing all these interviews in which certain people are trying to put out there certain things. And it just made me wonder. But anyways, back to Kamala Harris. It should leave you to question, considering that Kamala Harris is a part of this whole Me Too agenda, linking up with Kim Foxx. Cook County Prosecutor Kim Foxx and Senator Kamala Harris have both shown they cannot be trusted, and it wouldn't be hard to believe they are committed to fulfilling their political agendas. You have a corrupt prosecutor, Kim Foxx. You have a corrupt senator. You have corrupt officials connected to the White House, pulling favors for certain people. And it should be no surprise that Tina Chin is a big advocate for the Time's Up movement. You know, the movement that wanted to do away with the Me Too movement. Why? Because, as I was saying before, if you notice the Me Too movement, these women were trying to make it primarily about black girls. If you didn't notice how they tried to throw it out there in the series, nobody cared about the black girls. They wanted to make Me Too about black girls. So guess what? The other people had to come up with something to take over that. Wipe that clean out of there. That's just my opinion. Anyways, you got criminal attorneys and questionable evidence, such as the convicted Michael Avenatti, who's been on record saying 90% of that is going to be bullshit, because it's always bullshit of the time, always, whether it's R. Kelly or Trump. And again, I find it very odd that this man put so much focus on R. Kelly while he was defending a client suing Trump. And Trump has way more accusers than R. Kelly does. But that's another video. When Avenatti gets in trouble, you start seeing Geronda Pace distance herself from Michael Avenatti, saying she will continue to stand by him. And she also mentioned that he's not her attorney. But I wonder when that transpired, because at one point in time, he was her attorney. How can you take any of the allegations serious led by a convicted extortionist using witnesses who can't even keep their story straight? Over this long period of time, we got the accusers accusing the accusers. We got the accusers saying people speaking on their behalf are lying. We got the accusers doing shit to make it appear that they were the victim from the first sex tape. Just out the blue, this photo emerged with the caption, "If you ever wondered who the R. Kelly tape girl was, her name, Geronda Pace." For all we know, Avenatti could have used Geronda as the alleged sex victim in the video to present to Kim Fox, considering the misleading post that emerged via social media. Someone asked her, is she expected to testify? And she said, I am expected to testify. However, I am not set to testify. No attorney has advised me because I'm not represented by anyone. I am aware that anything that I say or do and will be used against me. I also know that anything I don't say or do can also be used against me. So, unlike what we saw with the Cosby case, they had to actually go to court to get permission in order for that witness to testify. But as we see, and as I speculated earlier last year, I don't believe these alleged accusers and witnesses have been advised about how they're going to be incriminating themselves in the shenanigans they've been doing. You would think somebody with common sense would have told them, with such a high profile case, they should get the fuck off social media. But you know what? Because this story is complete bullshit, they have had to stay on social media, not only to try to promote the bullshit books and careers that they thought they were going to get out of this whole scandal, but they got to keep pushing and forcing their narratives down people's throats to the point that nothing they say makes sense at all. And we got people should have instantly had red flags when they saw old she-devil Gloria Allred saying she was representing people. She has a record of using press conferences to muscle money out of celebrities. Sounds a little bit like another attorney from the past. Someone like Susan Logan's. We're supposed to continue to take this shit serious when the attorneys for the accused, majority of them all have misconduct and criminal allegations pending against them. Make the shit make sense. The prosecutor is being investigated. The evidence is questionable for the simple fact when it comes to that tape. According to Avenatti, he has a detailed chain of command. I like to see that information for the simple fact you're not going to convince me that that is going to be a clear-cut video as it has been portrayed of the same victim from the first trial. You're not going to convince me. And then they're driving the narrative like the same information about these women who were used to extort money from R. Kelly hasn't been pushed through people such as Jim Derogatis. We're supposed to overlook these political connections involved around this case. You know what's funny? The major difference between Epstein case and R. Kelly, even considering that They pretty much tried to mirror R. Kelly's charges with Epstein. You know the biggest difference is the money. Where is R. Kelly money? You telling us he extorting girls, he's sex trafficking. This man over here got billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars unaccounted for. They still trying to find. But you over here telling us R. Kelly worth negative $2 million. Make that shit make sense. Where is the money? When you have sex trafficking, you're usually going to have some money embezzlement. You're going to have some money associated with this. Where is it? So you got the crooked prosecutor, the crooked attorneys, the unreliable ass witnesses, and a biased judge. And we're not supposed to be concerned that this man is not going to get a fair trial. Again, all these photos, y'all can go check them out. I'm just going to breeze through them because I'm trying to get through this live before the baby wakes up. But anyways, so imagine, slowly but surely, you're working your way back to the top, despite being plagued by a history of unfounded, slanderous allegations led by your former disgruntled employees. The same employees that were around during the time of your first allegations. So for them to come forth to this day and come with this bullshit narrative, somebody should be asking, why aren't they being charged for something? Because if they were standing by watching all this shit go down and they know that this man is doing this and doing that, why aren't they being charged? As listed in the indictment, they have stated that the enterprise in which they reference R. Kelly as includes managers, bus drivers, etc., etc. Why aren't they in the indictment? One man cannot be an enterprise. One man cannot run a criminal organization by himself. And with that being said, now that I'm thinking about it, since they're sitting here trying to force us to believe that the primary goal in R. Kelly touring is to traffic women and to get sex, that's the primary reason in him touring and doing concerts, according to them. That's why we need to mute him, remember. We need to mute his music because his music is providing the finances for him to abuse women. That was the narrative, right? So if that is the case, why the fuck don't we mute the record companies? Aren't they providing the finances for these artists to go out here and look for sex and traffic fucking girls? I'm just saying. Since we're talking about an enterprise, you got to get everybody with the enterprise. That's what they would do if it was the mob or something gang related, which is what they normally use a RICO Act for. But they want to apply it to a musician. So if you're going to apply it to a musician, you might need to apply it to the company as a whole, the record label included. It would appear from the beginning of Kelly's career up until now, each manager he has had screwed him over. From Demetrius Smith stealing from him to a variation of UCC filings against him, Kelly has had his hands full dealing with living the celebrity life while dealing with ongoing betrayals. Contrary to the bullshit Andrea Kelly has to say now, she's one of the people who were in between all the scandals looking for her way to stick her hand out. I included also a video of her, which was years and years ago. I guess she was practicing acting. Looks like to me she's gotten pretty good at this acting, because as I have watched videos from her from 2012 till now, either she has a personality disorder or she is a good actor in her mind. She ain't gonna convince me though that she's not aware. If she want to sit here and tell us about her story of being abused, she gonna have to also accept the people she has attached herself story. So with that being said, she was around during all this time in which these girls were claiming to be abused. And what was she doing? A lot of people didn't realize that in this video, Summer Bunnies, which was 1993, Aaliyah was in the video. R. Kelly's brother was in the video. Drea Kelly was in the video. Drea Kelly, as I said, has always been around. But I guess she wanted to paint the narrative. She was around, but she was hostage. She couldn't go out of this. She couldn't do this. She couldn't do that. The problem with her story is, if you continue to go down, I have also attached many videos in which she's stating that she was touring with R. Kelly, and when she would get off the stage, she would have to go get the babies. You even had fake ass Selena Johnson who talking about she gonna retire this song in America but still perform it in Africa, interview Drea Kelly and tell her she saw her do just that, perform and get off stage and go get her baby. But yet she don't sit here and run with the narrative that Drea Kelly couldn't do nothing and she was hidden. Nobody knew about her and all this bullshit. Okay. These people are something else. But you know what's interesting about this 25 years of accusations they want to keep throwing out? Isn't it interesting these settlements came around the same time as these sex tapes emerged? The first catalyst was Aaliyah, as you see at the top. Lizette, she can get the fuck out of here. Tiffany Hawkins, she can get the fuck out of here too. Because we already know she was managed by somebody else making the allegations who started the whole thing. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But anyways, let's skip past Lizette. Let's skip past Tiffany. Let's go to 2000 when the sex tape emerged. And notice R. Kelly wasn't charged until 2002. But yet, you had people such as Tracy Sampson, Patrice Jones, and Montina Woods suing him around this time. Montina claiming she was in the sex tape, Patrice claiming she was taped without her permission, and Tracy claiming she was an intern with Epic, which really don't mean shit, because just because you're an intern, how does that prove you had interaction with him? Anyways, as you can see, how these scandals emerge. It's always surrounding something. In between then, you will notice he was getting awards and nominated for all these different things. So, of course, he looked like a golden goose for a lot of people, right? So, on top of being sued by these girls, he's also sued by people such as this guy named Christopher Mahoney, who allegedly was assaulted by R. Kelly and his bodyguards. And there was other people who were suing in between then. And all of this was happening in between this man going to trial. After pulling his records, it became clear that from 97 all the way to 2002, somebody was establishing all these UCC filings, and you see McDavid's name on it. Also, you see R. Kelly Publishing Inc. So that leaves you to wondering, who's over R. Kelly Publishing Inc.? Who's in control of that money? How did these UCC filings come to be? According to R. Kelly, he states that he signed away his publishing at the beginning of his career. And of course, I'm not very familiar with all these different types of publishings and royalties and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, you still can't convince me this man wasn't generating large sums of money. Oh, I said these were going on up until 2002. Actually, they were going on up until 2009. So during all these alleged rape allegations happening and this man's trial, you have all these UCC filings popping up. And that doesn't raise flags for people. You have all these women popping up in the time frame. These people are creating these UCC filings. A sex tape emerged. These women emerged, all using the same attorneys to reach this settlement. Maybe because they've been pre-warned it's not going to go to court. All you have to do is this, and that. So this is the plan. That's just what it looks like to me, but I'll continue. Despite his shortcomings, Smith was allowed to begin working for Kelly again after running off with money he won for a show. And you'll see the video I have attached in which I did of Demetrius, in which he told us basically he's the one who started it all. He's the one who allegedly forged the certificate. He's the one who took Tiffany Hawkins, who he was managing, to this lady, Susan Hawkins, to begin the whole cycle of let's get money from R. Kelly. The story tends to vary, yet the outcome remains the same. A plan was concocted in which it was said R. Kelly must marry Aaliyah. According to Smith's original statements, it was Daryl McDavid who stated this had to happen. And I have included the article in which Demetrius Smith implicated Daryl McDavid, stating that he is the one who said R. Kelly had to marry Aaliyah. And the shit sounds dumb as fuck to sit here and say he had to marry Aaliyah because she was pregnant. However, we're going to force her to get an abortion. So why does she need to get married if she's getting an abortion? Makes no fucking sense. It's unclear who leaked the fake certificate to Vibe magazine or what really happened. It is obvious, however, the certificates presented as so-called proof of the marriage are fraudulent. Anybody with eyes can look at this bullshit and see the deception. As you see, I have also attached more links if you want to go check those articles. Just some samples of some real certificates versus the fake. And in this article, it states after the certificate emerged, it basically points out how Barry Hankerson, who was Aaliyah's uncle, didn't cut his business ties until 2000. Does that make sense? Following the scandal, Aaliyah's father began managing his daughter, even though Hankerson is in complete control of her So I don't know what just happened, but I just got kicked out. This is my first time using this program, y'all. I don't know what I was just saying. If y'all could drop in the comments the last thing y'all recall me talking about, I'll pick back up right there. Because it looks like I'm going to have to edit this video. But anyways, while I wait to see where y'all recall, as you can see, I'm basically putting together the story as I have seen it throughout this whole year. And that is the reason why I have been determined to break down each individual person and find out their connections to things. You know, it's easy to jump in a situation and start attacking and going at everything but the right thing. But at the end of the day, like I've told y'all from the beginning, it's a lot of fucking people involved in this takedown. And I'm not finna sit here and be focused on the same fucking people, period. It makes no sense. That's stupid, in the words of Angelo Clary. Let's see. Let's see. That ain't what I want to do. I'll tell you one thing, I'm getting used to this technology though. Pretty soon, I might just start dedicating my time into doing lives this way so that I could be more in tune with my subscribers than just dropping videos. For me, dropping the videos just keeps me out the bullshit. But I think I like doing it this way a little bit better. It's less time consuming, and hey, like I said, I could always go back and edit it. But anyways, back to the topic. Okay, Tiffany Hawkins. Okay, the last thing I was talking about was this lady by the name of Tierra Black. If you have time, you can go through my videos all the way to the beginning of last year. You will notice a video titled 11-year-old boy tries to commit suicide. Well, his mother, Tierra Black, is very familiar with this lady, Javonta Cunningham, and could possibly shed light to her perception of the story she's given now, because the comments that she left on her page would give one the impression that she felt like when she heard the stories from Javonte or whoever in the area that it was a false statement. But leave it to Jim Derogatis. He was saying that there's not a corner you can't go on without somebody giving you a horror story about R. Kelly. That's just strange to me. You know why? Because I don't know where y'all are from, but where I'm from, if a person knows a person is a sex offender, a pedophile, that person is not going to be free to walk up and down the street. That person is not going to be free to just be up at the club, living their best life. They're not going to tolerate a known pedophile freely sitting out here living their best life. So when I heard, again, Jim Derogatis put that bullshit out there, I just had the side eye. All these people, all these celebrities that have came from Chicago, such as Kanye West, Chance the Rapper. It is so many artists that have come from Chicago. So you ain't finna sit here and play with my emotions and tell me that they all knew about these stories that you were talking about, but these people just couldn't. His music was just so good, we ignored that. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody that stupid. Now, granted, you got some slow people out here that really don't give a fuck. You want to know why? Because they were that young girl chasing after R. Kelly, wishing he would give them the opportunity. That's why. Period. It's strange that Hawkins was allowed to give this outdated story on Lifetime's national platform, but for them to wait until the very end to caption the baby she spoke of wasn't R. Kelly's. If you see, I took a picture of it just so y'all can see. They let this motherfucking girl get on this platform, tell this whole fucking story, right? And then at the end, they don't say out their mouth that the baby she was talking about wasn't R. Kelly's. They don't tell you nothing else about this baby. So that leaves a person like me to wonder, well, who baby was it? If you was a minor when you got pregnant, who was you sleeping with? Could it have been Demetria Smith, your manager? Is that why you needed that moment to walk off camera and get your story together? Just saying. Nobody gave her any follow-up questions. There was no explanation of how she could have been so devastated by this alleged relationship, yet ended up pregnant the same time. Makes no sense. In there, you'll see the video I did on Tiffany Hawkins. Imagine being taken advantage of by the people you trust to take care of business for you, knowing that you have a learning disability. Unfortunately, in the Black communities, mental disabilities are often dismissed, while those suffering in silence try to maintain without asking for help. Many have spoken on R. Kelly's being a musical genius. Is it possible there's an explanation for his gift? A fan told me to look up this term, which is Soviet syndrome. And, I'm not trying to diagnose R. Kelly or anything like that, but what I am pointing out in sharing this type of information is that I saw an interview in which people were basically implying that R. Kelly is dumb, like he's slow, he's not all there. I refuse to believe that. I'm not finna believe that R. Kelly is neither slow, dumb, or retarded. I believe that man has a special ability. And just because he doesn't possess the same mental intellect or have the ability to relay himself or even write or read the way everybody else is perceived normal in doing, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with him. Everybody has their God-given talent. So for him, his God-given talent was music, obviously. And what this syndrome basically talks about is it's a rare, extraordinary condition in which someone with significant mental disabilities demonstrates certain abilities far in excess than average. So when I say mental disabilities, that could just be for the simple fact that, like we have recently all began to talk about and hear about, was the fact that he was sexually abused himself. So that could have created some type of dysfunction within his mental development, just like any abuse would. So with that being said, the skills of Sabians excel and are generally related to memory. This may include rapid calculation, artistic ability, map making, or music ability. I have also attached a video that speaks on Sabians, but this is just me saying that instead of people being so dismissive and saying that he got to be dumb because he's in this position, or slow because he's in this position, or any of that because he has been used and abused, knock that shit off. Anybody could be used and abused. Anybody. But the point is, the Black community is too quick to be dismissive and be so negative and discouraging that they don't take the time to recognize that each individual person is an individual person. Period. Anyways, considering over the time it has become very clear the record labels that sign young artists could care less about their mental health or problems in life as long as you're making them money. So that was the major point in bringing up the Soviet syndrome, because if by chance he is evaluated by someone And if they come up with a determination as to his mental stability and or anything about him, I feel like it just again should shed light on how record labels and the music industry will pretty much let people destroy themselves as long as they're making money. They will feed them the drugs. They will feed them all the things that they feel like they need. And then the minute they're no longer beneficial to them in the way they want, they will sacrifice them, period, point blank. And you can look at it on the Illuminati spectrum, or you could just look at it on the spectrum of, okay, there's stories of people that pretty much take insurance policies out on people and then knock them off. It'll be the same thing. Like at the end of the day, you can't negate the fact that these record labels come up real nice when these celebrities pass away, especially when they are perceived not to have family that could claim their estates. We've had over and over these artists coming out saying they're slaves, they're prisoner, they can't do anything. Recently, we just heard about Tamar Braxton allegedly trying to kill herself because of her situation. But how many stories do we have to hear like that before we recognize something ain't right with these corporations, and somebody need to start regulating the way they are mishandling people? They want to talk about abuse. That should be top of the list. How is it all these artists, even the ones from the past who are now legends gone, but created so much for the music industry, don't even have a tombstone on their grave, for example? Died in the crack house, for example. Just make it make sense. Who's going to take responsibility for the way these record labels are pimping these artists? So just imagine what they're doing to people who can't read or write, or who don't read or write well. Even those who choose not to read, even if they can read, they just sign the deal because they've been put in a situation with their idol. Maybe they have the opportunity to work with somebody. They're given a piece of paper and told to sign it, but they don't read what the fuck they're signing. There's many of people have done that. J. Cole, as a matter of fact, just came out and said he didn't read his contract. So people are out here calling R. Kelly dumb and stupid because he signed away his publishing rights. Well, guess how many other artists did the same exact fucking thing? The problem is not just that he did that. The problem is throughout his whole career, he's had shiesty ass people around taking advantage of the fact that he did that, and are also taking the potential for the income that he has anywhere else besides touring. And if anybody knows about music, when you are touring, that money comes out of your pocket too. So even though you're touring to make money, you still got to spend that money to make it. So what does it say when your managers are out here pocketing said money? It's time to start looking at these people who own these record labels. Because it's just so fucking strange to me that you had all these black record labels that emerged back in the day, like Motown, for example, that ended up boosting these companies today, such as Warner Brothers, to be the powerhouse that they are. But look at all the artists who were under Motown who ended up dying broke. What does that say? Just back before I move on, that was another problem I had with them telling me to mute R. Kelly. You want to know why? because I know that it was so many black people that had to give up their song to a white person to sing because of discrimination. It was so many black people that had to put white people on their album covers to sell their music because of discrimination. It was so many black people that had to go around back to perform on a stage in front of white people. It was black people who weren't even allowed sometimes into their shows to perform for white people. I am not going to be the person to say mute R. Kelly when our people have gone through hell and high waters just to be fucking heard, just for our music to be taken and whitewashed. Period. Back on topic. According to Demetrius Smith, he reached out to the record label to inform them he believed Kelly had a problem, even though he also states he had never seen him act appropriately with a minor. Demetrius Smith went out his way after he got fired, though, to tell the company R. Kelly has a problem. Never mind, he never saw him do anything inappropriate. He got a problem. Okay, that makes sense. According to lyrics written by Kelly in the controversial song I Admit, he states that he unknowingly signed away his publishings at the beginning of his career while expressing wanting ownership of his masters. Isn't it ironic how celebrities have this common issue and most end up in a tragic accident, leaving the record labels to gain greatly? Isn't it also ironic that the same company that was pushing this surviving R. Kelly does business with a convicted pedophile, and Netflix, which is also in partnership with Weinstein, was so quick to air Surviving R. Kelly? How does it make sense to feature a biased series full of unfounded allegations by questionable witnesses while supporting a person with the same allegations? The same convicted pedophile that is CEO of Disney, Rob Iger, also put forth $60 million to help Harvey Weinstein in his sexual assault suit. Make that make sense. And then they want to say if R. Kelly had sexually assaulted white women, it'd be different. No. Just go over and watch what's going on with Epstein's case and you'd see how different it'd be. These people telling you about R. Kelly having a cult. I'm still looking for this damn cult, because I've seen quite a few cults. I've seen Nature Boy's silly ass all over the internet with his lame ass cult. I've heard about the rumors with the Scientology. There's so many people, it's a lot of cults out here that could be featured. And even what's surprising to me is that the BBC has interviewed people like Nature Boy. But guess what? Everybody in the world don't know Nature Boy, but everybody in the world know R. Kelly, right? In their mind. As this article pointed out, record labels are benefiting from high number of celebrity deaths. And that's just what I'm seeing all over this case is the way they have aggressively pursued this man. It's like they have wanted him to commit suicide. They want him to catch the coronavirus. They want him out of here. That is what has become clear. It shouldn't be hard to see how easy it is for a record label to shift the public's opinion about any given person, including their artists, considering how the three major record labels are basically operating a monopoly and control the media. I attached the video in which Michael Jackson exposed Sony. But if you just look at a lot of these artists, they all have a common issue, especially when it comes to Sony. And Sony has a lot of pull when it comes to mass deception, the media, the people in which they can control to make the public think whatever it is they want them to think. Although Sony did drop R. Kelly, they along with Universal and Warner are still copyright holders. And I know this because I did a video in which they blocked it. And as you can see, it says copyright claim by WMG, Warner Music Group. And it was a live stream in which they have been promoting, saying that R. Kelly is saying that it's too late for him to be charged with his crimes, when they know damn well he was saying it's too late to mute him, not it's too late to charge him with the accusations. And it's strange that they have that copy written where they'll pull it. But it's funny, I'm seeing it in other places in which, if it has the narrative in which they want, which as you can see right there, it says R. Kelly says it's too late to mute or accuse him. They should have did this shit 30 years ago. That's the title they have for that video. All these people with their hypocritical business opinions. One minute they'll say this, and that to make you feel like they're so pro-black. But then you start to realize the people they're doing business with and the things they're doing to further, I guess, give the stereotypes about black people, such as this video that I have included, in which Jay-Z is basically saying single parents are to blame for a lot of the things going wrong with the black community. Never mind that single parenthood, that was pretty much brought to the black community. It came from so many different things, from mass incarcerations to even getting public assistance. You know, a lot of people assume that men were just deadbeats, where a lot of the men from that time would rather have left the home and let their family get benefits than stay there and suffer. Not saying that that's right, but I'm just saying some families felt that way. So when I hear people coming in making ignorant comments and disregarding the struggle black people have gone through because we have been disadvantaged for the last 400 motherfucking years, that shit pissed me the fuck off. That shit pissed me off. And then they want to cheerlead for the people who have put these programs in place, such as the mass incarceration that was put here by Bill Clinton. People want to sit here and keep dick riding for him like he was such the greatest thing. No. While some celebrities displayed their hypocrisy in comments about R. Kelly, others worked in overdrive trying to hide their indiscretions. Funny, even those that went along with the agenda found themselves a target as well. They get to realize that regardless of whether you're with them or against them, you're dispensable. They can replace you. They could let you sit here and create this great brand on their platform, and then they could take this shit away from you, Nick Cannon. Then all these people sitting around here, who records themselves having sex? Listen, y'all must have forgot this was the time period in which that was the thing. If you wanted to be real about it, R. Kelly was the first infamous sex tape released. And that's how it was promoted, as an infamous sex tape, not child porn. So just imagine how a lot of black women felt when they realized they out here doing the most, being recorded on film. And this little woman over here, she could do the same thing and make $1 million brand. Imagine that. Imagine seeing people like Superhead promoting this book, exposing celebrities you have slept with to get famous. People can play crazy all they want, but if you want to know what people record themselves having sex, well, just go and look up celebrity sex tapes. And just think about all those people who would willingly use something like a sex tape as leverage to blackmail people. The same thing they're kind of saying with the Epstein case, in which they feel like he was using a lot of these girls to blackmail these politicians, which I do believe. The same people that will cheer you on in the past will be the same ones that get on deck with slandering you. Like they don't realize that their secrets will come to the light too. Like how John Legend's wife was implicated in the Epstein scandal and all the crazy shit she has been tweeting in the meantime. So for John Legend to feel some type of way about R. Kelly, maybe he feels some type of way because he lacks any type of say so in his relationship. You could just look at the things that his wife posts and see she ain't got no respect for him. So I'd probably be in my feelings about R. Kelly too. Then you got her posting pedophile ass shit like this, seeing little girls do the splits half naked is just, I want to put myself in jail. But you want to sit here and talk about R. Kelly, John Legend. Get your shit together. Get your wife together. Then you got all these other people that, while they're putting the focus on R. Kelly, they're begging people not to investigate Epstein. You want to know why? Because a lot of them are going to be implicated. I could imagine how many people he done blackmailed. What's funny is, after Surviving R. Kelly dropped, Chance the Rapper came out with this statement. A lot of people assumed he was talking about R. Kelly. A lot of people did not know that Oh, so they playing with me. I don't know what's going on. Why this keep cutting off again? I'm new to this program, but just to put it out there, if this keeps cutting off and if I don't get through this whole breakdown today, let me say again. I'm gonna put my site up here so that y'all could go check out the site and just pretty much see where I'm going with this, how I'm pointing out all the little bumps that R. Kelly has come across throughout his whole career to shed a little bit of light as to where things have gone wrong and to highlight some key players that were around when these things were going on. So it's just something to think about. But again, if I don't finish this, I will do another live and do the second part because I did have to break it into two parts on my site. You will notice that um, there's two different posts in which I put the links so that you can easily go from one post to the next. So when you get to the end of this post, for example, all the way at the bottom, you will see another link that says continue part two, or it says where's R. Kelly's money part two. You can click on that and you can see pretty much if I don't get through this complete video today, you will see what I will come back with the next time I go live. And just to throw it out there, I would love to go live a little more often, but as you all can imagine, it's a little hectic when you have a 2-year old and a newborn. When the 2-year old, I swear to God, he acts just like that little baby off of, the Darwins, the little, no, the Thornberries. My little boy act just like that little boy to just walk around and just make up crazy ass noises and sound effects all day. So man, they is real life playing with me. I don't even know what I just said. But anyways, you can go to my site. If I don't get through this whole thing today, I will try to do another live as long as my son is sleeping quiet. That way I don't have to worry about people making no little jokes about no child. I'm trying to get this back up. I don't know why does it keep cutting off? I don't know what's going on here. They're playing with my emotions. Let me get back to the topic. Okay, so about these non-disclosure agreements. That was another thing that just been bothering me about these narratives that they spin is the fact that these people acting like celebrities don't have non-disclosures. Like, I don't know too many celebrities that deal with regular people that would not be asking them to sign a non-disclosure. You want to know why? Because it's always thirsty ass people trying to sell their information to the tabloids and shit, like as we're seeing now. But yet clearly they're showing us how they feel about these settlements. They don't give a fuck. They still gonna talk. Problem I have with it is they're trying to flip the narrative as though these non-disclosures are making it seem like that means there's abuse going on, when that just means that these celebrities want their privacy. What that noise? I don't know what that was. So oh yeah, they is playing. I don't even know what I don't even know what the problem be. Do y'all think it's because at the beginning of this video it was music playing? Because if somebody reported it, that could be the problem and why they keep kicking me out. Because of course, these record labels, they still want to claim their copyrights on this music, even though they want us to mute it. Okay, let me try to share this again. They real live playing with me. They is real live playing with me. All right. Okay. So if it cut off this time, I'ma just come back later and finish it out. But again, I'm finna put my site up here. Y'all could go slide through and pretty much get an idea of where I'm going with all this. But it's just basically breaking down everything that was going wrong around R. Kelly. And like I was saying in a previous video that I did, 2015 was a big year for all these scammers. In 2013, you could tell Andrea Kelly was starting to get low in her funds. So she started to show her character, you know. But at the end of the day, it's very easy for a person to have people around them that they think have their best interest in heart when really they only have their own interests. Let's see if this is loaded back up yet. Look, and now I'm looking at this picture. Where this dude go? Where did the dude go with the third sex tape go? He just disappeared off the face of the fucking earth. Where is he at? Cause they keep talking about all these tapes that they had at one period of time. Where did they go? Did they disappear? Cause according to what Greenberg said, they only have one tape. Yet they done got in front of the public talking about all these different tapes. There was 20 tapes. All these people handing in all these devices and all this shit. Again, you just got to be able to see the deception and realize the real perpetrators right here. Um, Mac Lover, I saw your comment. You said, can 20 people donate at least 20 today? Well, one thing I will let you know is when it comes to this YouTube platform, they pimping the shit out of me. I don't know what the fuck other people doing and how they do their videos, but the way I do my videos, it seems like I'm damn near paying YouTube. So when people contribute to the what they call it, super chat, YouTube end up with all that, and it just be looking at me. It just make me feel some type of way that I would I would like for the people who do decide that they do want to contribute. If you are contributing, it goes to me and not this damn platform. So I just be like, I don't even care about super chats or none of that for the simple fact that's not why I do it in the first place. Oh, and by the way, I found out that this photo right here, I got that off of. I saw this photo on 3 different blogs, and this is why I say what I say. You have to, um, you can't just always run with one source of information. So when I looked at these 3 different sources, they had this picture up saying that it was R. Kelly brother. Now I'm starting to question it. The guy in the red shirt, no, no. Now, the other guy over here that was in the music video with him with the glasses, that's definitely Carrie Kelly. But somebody had this other photo with this guy with the white thing on it, and I think they look like Will, if I'm not mistaken. But I just wanted to clear up the fact that previously in another video, I showed that photo, and I just wanted to clarify that I wanted to address that's not Carrie. See, I don't have a problem if I make a mistake. I'm going to correct it. I have no problem. Even with the subscribers, when I read the comments, people are like, "I'm surprised you didn't go off," and this, and that. Listen, I'm not a fan of R. Kelly, so when fans can come out and point little indiscrepancies and let me know certain little tidbits that could be changed, I embrace that. When people come and provide me information that is not going to be trying to discredit the next, I appreciate that. I'm not gonna ever be the person that act like I know everything or get mad if somebody correct me, because we all researching this together. You feel me? Shit. I didn't even realize I had so much on this site, which is probably why I can't do it. If y'all didn't know, a lot of all the videos I've done up until this point, I've done on my phone. So when I hear people making little comments, is really is really funny to me, because you'd be surprised what I have put out on a little bitty phone. So if the best thing you can complain about is a little background noise, shit, I'm winning. Fuck you thought. If anybody knows about Virgos, we get stuck in our ways. Once we learn how to do some shit, that's what we gonna stick with. We don't like trying new shit. Wow, this is a lot of information on here. And this is just half of part one. And people are probably wondering, what does this have to do with R. Kelly's money? Just wait. We're going to get there. That's why a lot of people don't know what's going on, because y'all too busy trying to rush into situations and not understand what was going on around R. Kelly. Okay. Okay. So we noticed Tiffany Hawkins, she was from 91. Tracy Sampson, Patrice Jones, and Montina Woods, all from 99. If you'll notice on the information from Montina's first claim, she included Bass Productions, which is on the indictment, right? Winkler McDavid, who's also in the indictment, but Jive Records ain't on the indictment. Chicago Tracks is not on the indictment. But yet again, this is one of those situations in which I feel like they were advised that they would bitch. I'm sorry, y'all. This thing tripping. But this is the reason why I feel like they were advised to go ahead with the lawsuit, because people representing R. Kelly would settle on his behalf. And as I mentioned before, it's mighty funny. All these women, they popped out conveniently around this sex tape. The sex tape was the leverage. What's strange is I could sit here and pull up articles such as this one, which I have included, in which it details teens having sex for record deals, and yet they're sitting here playing with our emotions with this whole child abuse, sexual abuse, all this shit. They want to sit here and play with our emotions with this Me Too, when these are women who were adults who decided to engage in sexual activities, who are now looking for monetary gains for their activities. You can guarantee if these women had these experiences with other people, or let me reword that. You can guarantee these women are not bringing abuse allegations against any of their exes, which 9 times out of 10, you can guarantee all these women are putting R. Kelly in that boat of all their exes. I say that because you have all these women who now I'm not convinced they even had a relationship with R. Kelly. Lisa Van Allen was even, she had to have gotten pregnant with her daughter the same time this sex tape was created. If you do the math, according to her, she met R. Kelly in 98. The sex tape was dated 5/1999. Unlike what they have put out there for the public, there was a date on that tape, except for the part where they're trying to claim there's a minor pictured. What's strange to me is I even saw this guy, Kim Jansen, who was reporting on the case in 2002. He was making comments about the case. Little did I know he was going to be featured in the second version, the second installment of Surviving R. Kelly. What's interesting is the man was sitting here tweeting about everything that he experienced. And if you read his tweets, you will notice that basically he is describing an extortion plot. He is describing Lisa Van Allen talking, giving this tape to a guy named Keith, all this stuff that has been talked about in court. Extortion. They want to keep gliding by that fact and let these people get on national TV and tell these bullshit versions of what happened. However, this guy right here, when he was on Surviving R. Kelly, he didn't tell nothing about no Chuck and Keith. I didn't hear nothing about no Chuck and Keith. I didn't hear nothing about him calling Keith, setting up an interview, and these guys being more interested in setting up press conferences. Does that sound familiar? They weren't going to the police to try to give in evidence. They were calling reporters trying to set up press conferences to let R. Kelly know they're about to release this tape. Extortion. Period. Like, stop playing. So is it okay to break the law to catch the next person? Oh, yeah, we see the FBI do that all the time. We see the FBI always using informants to make their case. It's okay for their informants to break the law in order to capture the next person. But how does that make sense? You can say what you want to say, but you ain't gonna convince me that that is R. Kelly in that tape. None of that makes sense. Period. Especially when you have the family rebuking it. When you have the family making statements and giving their testimony stating that Sparkle was in on the extortion plot, when you have them speaking to the fact that Rashana and her siblings shared a room in which they were on tour when the alleged sex tape was made. If you go back to the case in 2002, you will notice they can't even get the age right. They want to play around with the date of the tape, but yet they want people like me to believe that they're going to be able to prove without a reasonable doubt that there's a minor on this tape that has been circulated, mass, pop, just everything has been done illegally with this tape. Last time I checked, that would not even qualify as admissible evidence. In short, all of these women involved are mere smokescreens. How many of y'all remember the video that came out before Whitney Houston died in which she said to Monica, Brandy, and Clive Davis, I almost drowned again. And I quote, that's exactly what she said. And then next thing you know, she's dead. She's drowned in a tub and they're doing a Grammy party. There is a lot of money unaccounted for, a lot of deals made behind R. Kelly's back, and some scamming within his circle. We've seen it all publicly. Even when the man broke into his house and stole all of his belongings and then put the shit on auction, claiming R. Kelly owed him money. Isn't that what we heard somebody stating earlier in the video? He don't pay nobody. But how many artists issue out the checks? Don't they have people who are accountable for that? Managers, accountants, etc. The media will have you to believe that Kelly has blown his fortune settling with underage girls. However, that is a lie. And I'm going to break it all down to you. The biggest question people should be asking is, where is R. Kelly's money? Want to know what tipped me off to this money trail and the scamming that I believe we have been seeing? You got these dumbass people such as Geronda Pace posting shit like this. Now she expect me and you to believe that what we're looking at right there is the autograph receipt from 2008 in which she got R. Kelly's signature. Can y'all explain to me how? Wait a minute. So you mean tell me you lost this signature? You found it, what, 20 years later, damn near 20 years later, 12 years later. You found it 12 years later. The receipt is faded, but the signature is bold. Make that shit make sense. She said, shredding papers and found this. R. Kelly's autograph from the day he got acquitted. Who wants it? She must be out her fucking mind. She don't know people like me ain't got nothing better to do than call her motherfucking bluff. You want to know why? Because I sat there and I watched R. Kelly sign his motherfucking name. Let's compare. Y'all could go look on my site. You'll see beside this piano, R. Kelly wrote his name. And the video is somewhere floating on Facebook. I can't remember. He was doing some signing. But anyway, does that signature look like what Geronda Pace has presented to us? I'll wait. Them look like the same signatures. Even more so, you know what? That made me think. If these motherfuckers out here holding on to this right here, let's just say hypothetically they did have his signature. This just made me feel like it wouldn't be far-fetched to believe that they were replicating his signature. Right. Something to think about. All these years later, she come out with this damn signature. Okay, Geronda. But let's dig into the fact that as a result of all these false allegations and all these people being allowed to sit out here and slander this man's name, this man has lost quite a lot of money. This man had shows booked that were canceled. This man was allegedly planning tours. This man was trying to make an honest living. And let them tell it, He was just out here trying to recruit girls for sex. Kelly's ongoing federal case has reduced his main source of income. The singer was scheduled to release 2 more albums on RCA Records, but the label refused to put out said albums or put money behind promotion after Surviving R. Kelly aired. So that left me a question. Because when I heard this whole thing, I was like, you know what? This might be the perfect way to get out of contract. You let these people drop you. But that was before things, went all the way left. But that was my first train of thought. But now that I reread this, it makes you question, since it said he was scheduled to release 2 more albums on RCA, but the label refuses to put out said albums. So by them saying, but the label refuses to put out said albums, that would mean that the albums are complete, right or wrong? Just curious. And then on top of that, not putting out the 2 albums that this man thinks he completed in order to be done with his record label, they're not going to promote his music as a result of Surviving R. Kelly. Not as a result of a conviction, no, as a result of this documentary. Let's go into some of his debts. In 2008, Kelly paid $3 million to the IRS after they filed multiple liens against him. So let's pause there, because I showed you earlier in the video all these UCC filings against R. Kelly. So obviously, those filings had nothing to do with his IRS debt. So what are those UCC filings for? Well, as I began to understand a little bit about UCC filings, I realized something. Did you know you could start a company, whether it be legit or not? You can start a company and you can create a lien against somebody. Let's say you want to say somebody owes you money. You could create a lien against somebody under that company. So I'm just putting that there, and I'm going to leave it right there because, as we know, a lot of these scammers have these companies, Just saying. So, again, in 2008, he paid $3 million to the IRS. So, would it be far-fetched to believe that the people handling this man's money knew that they were fucking up? They came up with these little devices, these little girls, these little extortion plots to be a distraction. But the problem was, in the distraction, it was only creating more problems. And that's where we see R. Kelly at today. We keep asking, why didn't R. Kelly do this? Why didn't R. Kelly do that? Maybe it's the people that were handling his business were content not doing this or that because they knew what they were doing behind the scenes. Before, or let's say right after this man's trial, he pays the IRS $3 million. And then there's a trickle effect of everything going down from that trial till the present. A similar occurrence happened in 2012 when the IRS said that Kelly owed them over $5 million in back taxes. So, the man, according to this, he not paying his IRS taxes. When we see all of his homes and his stuff start to be foreclosed upon, they're not paying his bills. They're telling the staff he's not paying them. Do we see where this is going? The video that you will see here is Drea Kelly. Let's just see what she had to say.
Next guest is the famous ex-wife of one of the most popular artists singers on the planet. But Andrea Kelly is so much more than that. She's a choreographer. She's also in the process of writing a book, coming out with a clothing line, and she also stars in the new and hugely popular show, Hollywood Nights.
So if y'all want to see the interview, y'all can go check that video out. But I just wanted y'all to hear that part in which they're saying what Andrea Kelly was up to in 2012. So she was writing a book. She was doing her dance studio. She was doing a lot, according to her. Don't you know that a lot of people, they were drawn to this Surviving R. Kelly under the impression Drea Kelly was behind majority of it. They were under the impression that that book was spawned by Drea Kelly. It was a lot of people running with the Surviving R. Kelly, primarily because Drea Kelly was attached to it. But the only thing that a lot of people are overlooking is that Drea Kelly is on a mission. And contrary to the version of her story now, in which she's saying so they just determined to keep kicking me off this junk. See, this is why I like to pre-record, because you don't have these issues. Either they gonna block the shit when you record it or they not. Let me see. I'm not quite sure what was the last thing y'all heard, but the major point was in bringing that out is a lot of people had the nerve to say that R. Kelly should have been investing in his wife, Drea Kelly. They must didn't look up the fact that she got quite a huge settlement. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure she was getting paid for her work. So as you heard her stating, she had a lot of attempted business ventures that she was working on. The problem was all of them failed. But you know what? The more I watch Drea Kelly, the more I start to believe that it could be very well possible that while Drea Kelly and all these people are implying that R. Kelly had a trainer for his girls and whatnot, or not, she also developed a so-called sexercise in which she was promoting teaching women how to be sexy and this net. But people are not calculating the fact that she got a huge settlement. She was getting alimony and she was getting child support. Where things started to go left with her, because if you notice that video was 2012, she ended up getting married 2013. And at that particular point, R. Kelly stopped paying spousal support, but he was still paying his child support. So in 2013, this lady, Drea Kelly, pays an agency to go out and blast R. Kelly, saying he wasn't paying his child support and was in fact 100 and something thousand behind. R. Kelly then came out with his attorneys and pretty much disputed that statement and proved the fact that he was current in his child support. So then Drea Kelly goes back and tried to deny that she hired the company to blast R. Kelly. So the company pulls out their receipts and proves that Andrea did send them the information trying to get them to blast R. Kelly. And that's the link that I have put right there. Andrea Kelly lies about child support. So the company basically said they were standing by what they originally said, but the fact remained that R. Kelly proved that Drea Kelly was lying and that he was current in his child support. So what does that sound like to y'all? Just another bitter baby mama. So then 2013, while he dealing with her, he got his houses being foreclosed. He got people out here stealing left and right. You got people out here taking money for shows. And yet again, in 2017, the IRS come to collect some more money. So it just seems like throughout the whole depth of his career, the people managing his career pretty much said, fuck the IRS. You want to know why? Because I ain't going to be liable. He is. That's what it looks like to me. Which brings me to this post that was allegedly made by R. Kelly, in which he's saying that I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it didn't come from here, then it didn't come from me. Cool, cool. You heard it here first. And if you ask me, the reason why he was doing that is because, again, you had all these fake ass people acting on his behalf, talking about they had a tour. They doing this. They doing that. They getting all these deals on behalf of R. Kelly. Send money here. Send money there. Cash this check. Wire money here. People have been scamming left and right. And guess who gets to take the fall for that? Who takes the fall? You know, when I saw this one, yeah, in the midst of all this drama, I think it really made these people mad when they saw that this man was promoting this nationwide tour as well. You know what's funny? Now that I'm thinking about this tour, we had a certain individual on People platform still with that bullshit talking about trying to get a tour book for this man. The man in jail, and even to this day, the motherfuckers that's supposed to be representing him still over here trying to book shows and shit. Make that shit make motherfucking sense. The problem is if they had acted from the beginning, they could still be booking fucking shows. But no, they didn't do that. The fuck? Got all these people pretending to be R. Kelly. And from what I have observed, many fans have said that since 2017, I believe, R. Kelly has had his management running his social media accounts. And they have pointed out quite a few disturbing posts that have been made. So I go over to the page and I just see multiple posts within the last few months basically making jokes about this sex website. I'm sitting here looking like, and people wondering why this man in the position he is. But according to them, not only does his management control these platforms, but people from foreign places also control this. With that being said, you know how easy it is for these foreigners to be sitting here with these bullshit ass scams? So what does that say when some of his fans take part in these scams? I don't even know who in their right mind would be thinking R. Kelly is gonna be asking y'all to send $1,800 and shit, but oh motherfucking well. Like like I said last year, people been so busy worried about all the wrong shit and covering up certain shit, putting certain things in narratives that don't make no sense, and overlooking all the fuck shit. Like when this article come out and it says R. Kelly's defense team plots 1.8 million scheme to get singer released from prison. You know why that shouldn't be a shocker to nobody? Because for the last year, R. Kelly has been trying to get singer released from prison. Jesus, this gonna take me all day. But anyways, for the last year, I don't even remember. Cause I continued to talk before I looked down and seen this junk was gone. But anyways, his account was hacked by some unknown force. Like his Twitter and I forgot what other account was hacked. But for the most part, a lot of this other scamming, it wasn't a hacker. Some of these people were scammed inside of these little fan page groups. which a lot of people want to keep overlooking. That's where a lot of the scamming went down, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Got that back on there. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of the scamming came from within those groups, because this right here, this could be, a hacker on that part, but where'd it go? When it comes to these cards that were sent to people, that was done within these groups. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Moving on. Oh yeah, I said for the last year we had seen these people steady come on here talking about these tours and all this stuff they're trying to do as far as with R. Kelly's music and whatnot. To be honest, who has confirmed he has authorized any of that shit? So me personally, I've stayed away from it. It would appear that even after the trial, things would continue to go downhill. People bringing lawsuits against Kelly for alleged fights, more slanderous tabloids, money being unaccounted for, having emergency throat surgery, and those he trusted played a role in maliciously setting him up while they profited. This man did a charity in which he raised money. This was in 2003. This was after he was charged. Now, the money mysteriously disappeared from that. In this video that I've attached, they're talking about fans stating that they feel like they were duped out of money because they feel like it was an imposter performing. A promoter was accused of hiring an imposter. This was 2013. You will begin to see a whole lot of shady ass business going on. Okay, they playing too much. Too much. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to come back later. Give them time to get out their motherfucking feelings around here. But this is where I'm going to pick back up when I come back live. We're going to pick back up at where McDavid, Daryl McDavid, the guy that's in the indictment with R. Kelly, is telling another former manager he can't pay him because they're paying these settlements. But you ain't going to convince me with all these millions of money, that all these millions of dollars that this man is generating, that they are sitting here having problems paying minimal payments. Because as Larry pointed out at the beginning of the video, you will notice he said that they were getting payment plans. So it's not like he paid these women large lump sums of money. So again, the question remains, where is R. Kelly's money? We're going to keep asking that motherfucking question until we get the answer. We see right there, we just came to one little gem. And this man told us out his mouth, Daryl McDavid said, he can't get paid because they paying these girls out. And that's something that we've heard from these people. That's where I'm going to pick up when I come back later. I'm not sure what time it's going to be. I'm going to try at about 8 o'clock. It's 1:51 now. I'm going to try to come back at 8 o'clock and finish up at least part 1, because as you can see, this shit is deep. And to try to wrap up everything in one video, that's why I have broken down everything the way I have broken it down. So in the meantime, you could be going back, checking out any previous videos I've done. You could go to the website, primadonnaproductionsllc.com. Check out what I've got posted on there thus far. I appreciate everybody's support, everybody that supports the channel. All I ask for is a simple share. For those of you that contribute to the Cash App, primadonnaent, I really do appreciate you all. And I just wanted to also thank everybody again for all the baby shower gifts. Like this little girl, she is quite a joy. And I am truly blessed. Until we talk again. And as y'all can hear, Lil King is in the background. So look over that. Y'all have a good day. Stop, Snake.